All right, everyone. It should be fixed now. My name is Laura Cantu, and we are back. We had a little bit of problems with the audio, but we fixed it, and we shouldn't be hearing those weird noises anymore. As I was saying, my name is Laura Cantu, and I am super excited to have you here for yet another live stream Monday. Let me know in the comments if there's any funkiness or there are any problems with the audio, which there shouldn't be any. I don't really know why that happened, but it doesn't matter because we are back in the game. So today, let's talk about what you will be learning today. Today, we're going to be sharing, or I'm going to be sharing with you, the top secrets to getting accepted to college with scholarships. And as we go through this presentation, I want you guys to ask questions in the comment section. I want you guys to be active in the comment section because it just makes these live streams more entertaining. It makes these live streams more interactive and it makes it more fun, right? So let me know where you're joining from, whether you are a parent or a student. If you're a parent, what grade is your student in? If you're a student, what grade are you in? And why don't we go ahead and get started? Obviously, before we begin, I kind of want to break down or maybe let you know so you can also figure out if this live stream is for you, if this presentation is for you. So let's go ahead and describe or kind of deduct if this presentation or this training is for you. Now, if you are a parent who might be confused about what their role in the college admissions process might be, then this training is for you. Or also if you're a student who is looking to get into the best college or university possible, this training is also for you. If you're also a parent or, the parent who's worried about how they're going to pay for their child's education, this training is also for you because we will be covering strategies that will help you and your student pay for college and win scholarships, maximize the use of the resources and find the right resources, scholarships that might help them pay for college. Also, if you are a student who maybe is scared, anxious, or who just doesn't want to fall into a lifetime of student debt, this training is also for you. Additionally, this training might also be for you if you want to learn exactly what it is that colleges and universities are looking for. And finally, this training is for you if you want to receive the best college aid. No pun intended. We actually are going to cover what it is that you have to do and what the best type of college aid is for students, because there is a college aid, a type of aid for college, financial aid and scholarships that is the best type. So that is, maybe that clear the air. And maybe after seeing this, you are able to determine if this training is for you, if you are in the right place. Speaking of this training, let's look ahead and talk about what it is that we will be covering in today's presentation. Today, you will learn the number one thing that colleges look for in a student, right? Every college is different. Obviously, every university is looking for something different. Maybe you know that, maybe you don't know that. So today we are going to be talking about the number one thing that colleges look for. I also will be talking about and explaining how to write a perfect college essay, because there are strategies that go beyond having good grammar or formulating well-written sentences, or, avoiding putting a comma where maybe a period should be. There are strategies that go beyond the grammatical errors, maybe having your mom or your teacher review your essay. There are other strategies that can help you write an amazing essay. Additionally, I will also share with you how to get recognized by admissions officers of top schools, because we always talk about, and you might also hear, okay, you need to get the attention of college admissions officers, or you need to stand out, demonstrate interest. And a lot of the time, it's kind of hard to even know how you're going to do this. So I will be covering how you can do so in this training. And finally, the last tip that I will share with you today is how to earn the best college aid. Alrighty. As I said earlier, no pun intended, I will let you know which one the best type of college aid is, what is the best college aid, and how to earn it. All right, so before I begin with that and I get into the nitty gritty of the presentation, let's just give the people who might be new, if it is the first time watching this training or one of our live streams, who I am. My name is Laura Cantu. I went to high school not so long ago, graduated in 2016 from high school. And I went to Nova High School, graduated as the president of the National Honor Society, was a very involved student, had a 3.6 GPA. So I wasn't, Ivy League material, but I had good grades. The strongest aspect of my application in high school was the fact that I was very involved. I had a lot of leadership positions. Also, I was part of the theater club, and I also was part of the plays. So theater had a big weight on my applications and on the type of scholarships that I got for college, which I'll explain in a little bit. And I had an amazing college essay and college application overall. I also had a lot of schools that had interviews, so I really nailed my interviews, which there are also strategies to nail a college interview. So little strategies that I learned along the way allowed me to get accepted into most of the colleges in my list. I think I got accepted into 6 out of the 9 colleges that I applied to. So, I also got accepted into 2 of my top choice schools. And I decided to go to Marist College, where I graduated with no debt. I actually got $1 million in scholarships, $1 million in scholarships combined from all the offers that I got from colleges. But at Marist College, I basically was able to go into my freshman year with a full tuition scholarship because of all the financial aid and all their scholarships that I got. And then later on, I went on to become a resident assistant for my sophomore and junior year. So I was actually making money, because usually when you're a resident assistant, it just covers housing and room and board and meal plans. But because I had so much financial aid and scholarships, I had leftover money. But that was like later on in my college life. My college career, I also was able to, get a free semester abroad in London. Again, thanks to the scholarships, thanks to all of the financial aid that I received, I was able to do a semester abroad in London where I didn't have to pay for anything. Literally, I only had to pay for my flights because also food was covered in this semester abroad. And as I mentioned, I was also part of the theater program in my high school, and one of the search criteria when I was applying to college was I wanted to do theater in college. So I looked for schools that would allow me to do theater as an extracurricular because I major in media studies and I didn't want to major in theater. I didn't want that to be my career. I wanted it to be kind of like a student athletes who major in something and still do their sports, swimming, running, tennis, whatever. So for me, in my case, theater was my sport. I actually received a theater scholarship every year, and it was $4,000 per year in theater scholarships. So not only did I get to major in what I liked, I got to do theater. I was basically getting paid to practice my extracurricular activity. So it was pretty awesome. So that was my high school, college career. And then after graduating from college, our family and I decided to start Best College Aid, which is, our sponsor of this video and all of our social media channels. Maybe if you watched us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, because this is the platforms where we are presenting today. We decided to start this project to help others and to educate others and to basically just help families take advantage of the resources and get accepted into great colleges with scholarships. And through the last almost 4 years, we have helped millions of people through our social media content, through our Best College Aid membership. We have thousands of students inside of our program who are getting help daily, who are getting guidance inside our course, who are getting guidance through our emails, by us. And this past application cycle, it was an amazing year. We had students get accepted into incredible institutions, UPenn, Boston University. We had a student get accepted into Stanford University, into Boston University, Boston College, Northeastern University, the University of Florida. So we're really happy with our students who just graduated last year. So that's a little bit of what we've been doing for the past 4 years and ever since Best College Aid was created. Our Best College Aid students have received financial aid packages of over $1 million and $1 million combined. So we are very happy. We are very blessed to, have the knowledge to help others. And even by helping parents, by helping students over the past years, and the knowledge that we received with our own journey, we keep growing, we keep learning. And it's very amazing to see that this family, my siblings and I, that we were at a point where we didn't understand or know anything about the college admissions process in the United States. Now we have so much knowledge, and our goal is to share it with others. So, that was a little bit about me, a little bit about my family, and what Best College Aid is and how we've been doing for the last few years. So with that being said, it is time to start the first tip that I will share with you. So this is the time to pay lots of attention and to take notes, ask questions in the chat. I see that Maricel Vega is joining us, saying that they are a parent of a senior in Lakeville. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you have questions, write them in the chat at the end of the presentation. I will try to answer your questions. And hopefully you find this information valuable. So, what is the first tip that I have for you to help your student go to college with scholarships? The first tip is the number one thing that colleges look for, all right? What is the number one thing that colleges look for? And in order for me to share that, I do have to, give you some context or start with college applications and what are the main components of a college application. So in most of the cases, colleges are going to be asking that students submit or send in some, or if not all of these things. So transcripts, that's very, very common. All schools are going to ask for the students' transcripts, which are going to show the college their students' GPA, class rank, the rigor of courses taken, whether they took honors classes, regular classes, AP, IB, what it is that the school offered and what it is that the student decided to take. Also, some schools, not all schools, are going to be asking for standardized test scores, SAT or ACT. After COVID, and even before COVID happened, a lot of colleges were starting to be test optional. So maybe not all colleges and universities are going to make this requirement, it's not going to be mandatory. Some schools it's optional, yet sometimes it's worth it to still send in those scores, obviously, if the student received a good score in these tests. But nevertheless, some schools are going to be requiring standardized test score results. Extracurricular activities are also going to make take a huge portion of a college application, because when the student's filling out their application, whether it is through the Common App, whether it is through this school's website, they are going to be able to list all their extracurricular activities, maybe the positions that they held. And remember, the more the student was involved in an extracurricular, the better. Also, essays. I will talk about essays in the next tip more in depth, but a college essay is a big component of a college application, and it's a big way for the student to shine. Letters of recommendation, which should come from mentors, teachers, coaches, that really highlight the student and are also a great way to maximize the odds of acceptance. And in some cases, interviews, right? Not every college is going to have an interview process. A lot of the colleges that I applied to did have interview processes, and I actually did really well. There was a whole preparation process that I had to go through, and strategies that I had to know, kind of the questions to ask and the things to do, the do's and don'ts. But some colleges, especially the more competitive ones, will have an interview process. And if the student performs well, that can work in their favor. All right, so now that we talk about the components of a college application, I'm going to give a little bit more context as to what it is that colleges look for. But before I say that, I do want to state a very big fact and something that maybe a lot of people don't know, but with the passing of the years, colleges are becoming more competitive. So every year, every college or most colleges become more competitive. And we can see it here in this example with this list of universities. We can see that Amherst College, the acceptance rate in 2007 was 17.5%. And then in 2022, it became so much more competitive, it dropped to 0.25. So from 17.5 to 7.25. That means that's the percentage of students that they admit. So it dropped. Barnard College, same, 2007, it went from 28 to 8.79. You can see at Boston University, which is also a very competitive school. It was at one point, it used to be 54% acceptance rate in 2007. 2022, it was 14%. That is a huge, huge drop. Let's see another example. We have Harvard University, which, you should all have heard of. In 2007, the acceptance rate was 9.8, which is a very competitive acceptance rate. But now it is down to 3.19%. So it's not hard to understand or not hard to see that colleges are becoming more competitive. This means that in a lot of the cases, academics alone are not going to make the student stand out. It's not going to make the cut. There's going to be other things that the student is going to have to do to break through the noise to kind of stand out and to get accepted. Obviously, the more competitive schools, it's going to be harder to get into. A lot of other factors go into consideration. Maybe there are schools that are not as competitive, but usually with schools like Amherst, like Boston College, and a lot of schools have become more competitive over the years. Maybe schools that 10 years ago you've never heard of, more people are becoming more familiar with these schools. So it's just having good grades, maybe being involved in a lot of clubs is not going to be enough for students to get accepted into these institutions, into their top schools, right? In order for me to share some tips with you, I want to first share these surface level tips that you have probably heard about the college admissions process. And I'm not saying that these tips are wrong or they're bad, but these are just, as the name suggests, surface level tips that you have probably heard if you're a student throughout your high school career so far. If you're a parent, maybe you heard it from other parents, from students, from parents. And then I'm going to go a little bit more in depth and explain how us at Best College Aid take our principle, and I will, that was a little preview, but I will explain more in depth and so that you can understand, but how with our methodology, you can take these surface level tips and basically use them in your college application and perfect it and maximize the odds of getting accepted. So what are these surface level tips that you have probably heard? Colleges want students who have taken as many AP or IB classes or dual enrollment, whatever college level class that your high school has. They just want students that have taken the most college level courses as possible. Another tip that you might have heard is colleges are looking for students who are involved in the biggest amount, the most extracurricular activities as possible, which I will discuss in a little bit and explain how extracurricular activities work, and why sometimes less is more but if the less is done in depth, right? Or is done well. All right, the next maybe surface level tip that you've heard is colleges want extremely well-rounded students. Well-rounded students, I mean, yes, but what does that even mean? And the fourth surface level tips that you maybe have heard is colleges only care about extracurriculars that are done through the school or through large organizations. And, these, as I said, these are surface level tips. And now I'm going to share the best College 8 methodology, our methodology, what we teach our students, so that you can take some or all the tips that maybe you might hear or everything that you might have learned so far about the college admissions process and see it in a different perspective and maybe maximize your odds or your students' odds to get accepted into the right college with scholarships. And our methodology, we call it the principle, right? So what colleges really look for? What do they look for? They look for the principal student. And principal is an acronym that I'm going to break down, but it's basically a methodology that we use in a lot of aspects of the college admissions process. We use it when creating a college list. We use it when writing a college essay. And now I'm going to break it down for you. So, principal student. What does the P stand for? Passion. Colleges want students that are passionate. R, resilience. Students that are resilient. Students who are dedicated. Students who, if they join a club freshman year, they keep it going and they stick with it throughout the 4 years. Maybe in the beginning of high school, a student was struggling with math and maybe they just weren't doing well in a math class, but they tried, they were resilient, and they worked hard. And by senior year, they were taking, AP classes and AP Calc. And they just got A's and they really tried to improve their skills. The I in their principal student model stands for intellectual curiosity, students who have a hunger for learning that is goes beyond the classroom, that they're not just learning because they have to do it because it's schoolwork. The N in the principal student method stands for networking, collaboration, students who work well with others. C, creativity, students who are creative, students who think outside the box, maybe students who create their own passion projects, or maybe their own clubs and organizations, or even if it's a club or organization that already exists, students that do something with it. There's also, that was the P. That was creativity, sorry. I stands for impact. What impact does the student have in their school, in their community, in their extracurricular? Maybe they are the president or the captain of the soccer team, football team. What do they do with their time and how they impact those around them? P, perspective, or also known as cultural intelligence. What is their perspective? Where do they come from? How are they taking advantage of the resources that are given to them? Then altruism, which is also known as social responsibility. That stands for A in the principal student method. And L, leadership. Leadership. You've heard me talk about leadership in this presentation when I mentioned extracurricular activities and how important it is for students to not only practice extracurricular activities, but also have an impact, maybe have a leadership position. For example, I was part of the National Honor Society. I joined my sophomore year of high school. Junior year, I was a member. So a lot of students can become members, but I decided I wanted to do something more. So I joined so there was the main board who was the president, the vice president, treasurer, all that. And then there was subsections of teams that basically were in charge of organizing different things, different events. So my first year in National NHS, I joined one of those committees and I helped organize Relay for Life. And then my next year, that helped me run for the president of the National Honor Society. That was kind of like what I talked about in my speech, because we did have to do speeches. And that's actually what helped me, win the role of president of NHS. And I was the president during my senior year of high school, something that came up in my supplemental essay, something that came up in my interviews, and it was something that looked really, really good. But obviously, I had to work for it. I didn't just say one day, oh, I'm going to be the president of the National Honor Society. I'm just going to do it. It's something that if your student wants to be the president of something, maybe they want to start something, maybe they want to run for a board or whatever it may be, it takes effort, it takes preparation. It takes a principal student, right? So I talked about college essays, and using this principal method is going to help you guys understand the next tip that I have for you, tip number 2, a little bit better, which is how to write a perfect college essay, right? So as I said earlier, the college essay is a huge part of the student's application, especially with the more competitive institutions, because every college is going to read the essay, but it's, a great essay can make a huge difference in a college application. It can make or break whether a student gets in, because I cannot tell you guys the amount of time that college admissions officers are going to see students who have the same grades, the same transcripts, that have similar extracurricular activities. And, it all comes down to their essays and how well they wrote it. So it's very important. It's very imperative that students have a great college essay. So I already mentioned a little bit, but the role of the college essay in applications, what is it? Essays can make up to 25% of the decision process, which is a huge portion of it, if you think about it. College essays are one of the few ways to attach a story or attach a picture, an image to your name, right? Obviously, that goes beyond numbers, because, there's going to be those specific cases of students who are just so smart, maybe the valedictorians, or the students that maybe did 1,000 volunteer hours or something, just crazy, impressive, that obviously that's going to make them stand out. But a well-written essay, a unique essay, a creative essay can make the student stand out. We actually know of a student who talked about every time they went to Starbucks, they wrote a different name in their order. Like, they said that a different name, and that was the first line in their essay. It was like, every time I go to Starbucks, I tell the barista a different name. And, college admissions officers are like, okay, we want to know more. This is a Starbucks kid. And they're going to remember that student. So college essays are a great way for students to attach a story to the name and to stand out. As I mentioned earlier, a weak essay can hurt an otherwise strong application. Good grades, good SAT, ACT scores. What's left to look at? The college essay. If it's not strong enough, the college admissions officers are going to go for the stronger essay if there is a competitor or another applicants per se that has similar, similar test scores, grades as you. And also, a strong essay can boost a borderline candidate, so like maybe an average candidate, into the admitted pool by setting them apart from other applicants with a similar academic profile. So maybe it's that the grades weren't, spectacular. Maybe it was a well-rounded student. Maybe grades were okay, but extracurriculars and involvement was incredible. They were super involved. They did a lot of community service, and it all comes down to the essay, right? And it can boost the student to the candidate pool, or it can get them not accepted, rejected from a school. So it all matters, guys. So those essays are very, very important. And let's break down the essay and explain it or compare it, or basically, explain how to write a great essay using the principal impact test. So the principal method that we use here at Best College 8. So a perfect college essay has to pass the principal impact test. And in order to do so, let me break it down. Does the essay demonstrate passion? So P, passion, remember principal acronym. So P is for passion. Does the essay show a genuine passion for a particular field or a hobby or a cause? Maybe the student is going to talk about how they, build houses, or they volunteer for Habitat for Humanity, or they volunteer, or they were part of Best Buddies, and they met somebody who really changed their perspective in life, and they developed a genuine passion for the club, and maybe they started a foundation, or they started to raise funds, or they started a specific maybe Big Brother type of program. As long as the student is demonstrating passion, that is already a good start. And passion is it's a non-negotiable when it comes to writing a great essay, as long as the student the student can kind of mix the other ones, but demonstrating a passion for something, for a hobby, for a cause, that has to be involved in the essay. That has to be included, right? Resilience is, and the acronym for principal, resilience is, another way in which the student can incorporate this principal impact test to their essay. So does the essay show if the student overcame challenges or bounced back from failures? So this might also have to do with the prompt that is given, but if the prompt, it has something to do, or the student can kind of incorporate this into their essay, it would be great for the student to apply this. With intellectual curiosity, does it reflect a love of learning or a desire to explore new ideas? And, a little tip or a secret, I guess, colleges love when students know about the programs that they offer. They have done their research on the university. So if you were a student, or if you're the student watching this, if you want to go to a specific school for a specific program, it might be worth mentioning it, whether it is on the personal essay or maybe on the supplemental essay, why it is that you would like to do that or go to that school for a specific field, because they offer this specific program, and you want to learn and you want to expand your mind, your learning, your knowledge. So I guess that's a good pro tip. With networking, does the essay highlight the student's ability to work effectively with others? Maybe if it's talking about an experience that they had in high school, working with others at a job, volunteering, etc. That could be included in the essay, but it has to, show the networking, how the student got along, or whether or not they were able to work with others. Usually it should be yes. Creativity. Does the essay showcase the student's original thinking or an innovative problem solving skills, right? So an essay can or should show, and a good thing to incorporate is an essay that shows the student's creativity, and maybe if they were presented with an issue, what it is or how it is that they overcame it, and if they did it in an unusual way, or maybe they worked with what they were given and they still fixed something, they fixed a situation, they learned from something. That is a great thing to include in a college essay, using the principal impact test. That was impact. No, impact is the next one. Does the essay demonstrate the student's positive influence on their community or environment? What has the student done to change or to impact the community that they live in? If they started a club, if they created a passion project, if they went on a church mission trip to help others in a different country, what is the impact that they've had? Perspective, does the essay show an understanding and an appreciation of diverse cultures and viewpoints? Maybe, as I said earlier, if there was a trip that the student, I don't know if it's a religious trip, a lot of churches do trips like that where students will go to a different country or just different communities and help them. And if they did that, maybe they learned something. They realized that there is more to life than if they're from a small town, then that small town, or that the life that they have at home, and maybe if that can be translated and written into an essay, that's a great thing to incorporate, or a great way to write an essay, or an essay that stands out. Altruism, does the essay highlight the students' commitment to helping others and making a difference? And that kind of goes hand in hand with some of these other points that I've shared with you. But ultimately, schools want students who are willing to work with others, to help others, and to make a difference in their community. And finally, leadership, does the essay illustrate a student's ability to lead, to inspire, or to motivate others? And remember, it's not about saying, oh, I was the leader, I was the president of the National Honor Society, and we raised $2,000. That's not what I'm saying at all. Remember, the principal student. How is it that the student leadership position made an impact, make them change, right? So it's not just about telling, it's about showing. Students, you probably have heard this from your English teacher. Don't just tell, what it is that you did. Show the reader what it is that, like, what happened and what it taught you, how you learned from it, right? And finally, with this perfect college essay in principle method, the trick is that a perfect essay should satisfy passion, which is non-negotiable, as I said. So the essay has to demonstrate a genuine passion for a particular field, hobby, cause. Maybe if it also, as I said, if the student is able to relate it to what it is that they want to study and why it is that they want to go to the school, or a class that maybe that university that they're applying to that they want to take. Obviously, that is a given, and it should be in the essay, something that is talked about or included. And also include 4 other principal qualities to pass the principal impact test, right? So passion is a given, but all the other ones, resilience, intellect, networking, creativity, impact, perspective, altruism, leadership, all those things, choose from 4 of them, because obviously your student is not going to be able to include all of them in an essay, because there are word limits to these essays. And colleges are also going to know if the student's just trying to check off a box and trying to include their whole life story in their essay. Don't do that, but choose between 4 of these and kind of merge it in a way where whatever it is that the prompt is asking, because ultimately the essay has to answer the prompt. Whatever that prompt might be, you can incorporate passion, right? Non-negotiable. And some of the other 4 principal methodologies, principal tips that we have shared with you, right? Principal components. So that is how you write a great college essay. So hopefully that helped you. And let's go to the next tip, tip number 3, and that is how to get recognized by admissions officers of top universities. How is it that ultimately students stand out and demonstrate interest so that they can, maximize their odds of getting accepted into their top choice schools or maybe competitive universities, right? So in order to do this, students have to stand out by building a relationship with admissions rep. And maybe you didn't know this, maybe you did, but colleges actually assign a regional admissions officers, and they should be your first point of contact. So these are the regional admissions officers. And maybe just a disclaimer, not all colleges might have a regional admissions officer, but a lot of them do. And if the college that you're applying to, especially if it's your students' top choice school or their reach schools, these should be looked up and contacted, right? So how does this first point of contact, how can the student go about it? So each school may have a different process, right? Every school is different, and the way in which a student can find who the regional admissions officer at the college that they're applying to might be different. But typically, it goes as it follows. In most cases, this is how it's going to happen. Regional officers spend, it's important to know though, that regional admissions officers spend 20 to 25 minutes reviewing your profile. Depending on the school, the applications are either going to be fast-tracked for admissions, fast-tracked for rejections, which about 25% may be rejected after the first reading. So about 25% are just kind of fast-tracked, and they are put in the rejectum file, and the admissions officers are going to pivot and focus on the other applications, or the other school, or the other method that colleges use for applications. The applications are going to be passed on for further review, right? Now, in order to find the regional admissions officer at the school that your child is applying to, I guess the process would be to find their contact information. And this can be done if you look right here underneath. You're going to go to Google and type the name of the college. So, I don't know, Harvard University. And then you're going to put Harvard University Regional Admissions Officers. This will connect you, and it should be within the first 5 results, and it's going to connect you, give you the name, and there's going to be contact information. There should be contact information for faculty. Most schools are going to have provide at least an email or maybe a list of college fairs that the regional admissions officers might be in. A lot of regional admissions officers nowadays, they do online webinars where they take questions at the end and the student can introduce themselves, and as well as an email where the student can send an email with questions. If they're going to be doing any sort of like events nearby or campus visits, these are things that could happen and might appear in that initial search. But as long as there's an email, a contact, students can write an email with some questions that the student might have about the programs of the university and just kind of introduce themselves and stand out to those regional admissions officers, because trust me, it does work. It does make a difference. And demonstrating interest is one of the tips that we actually share with our students. And one of the things that a lot of our students have done, one of the things that even my brother David did in when he was in high school, and that helped him stand out, along obviously to being a student athlete and going through the whole recruitment process. He also reached out to the regional admissions officers at some of the schools that he applied to and later on got accepted to. So it's a great strategy to have and to use, right? So definitely use this method and demonstrate interest, maximize those odds of getting accepted. So that was tip number 3. And now let's move on to the final tip of the night, and that is how to earn the best college aid, right? How to earn the best college aid for your students. And of course, I have to give out some context before I share the tip. And it is, in case you didn't know, you probably already knew this, but unfortunately, college is becoming more expensive year after year. Even when I first started college, from my freshman year of college till my senior year of college, I would see in my, my scholarship award package, it would list the cost of attendance and, the amount of scholarships you received, but it would always grow. I think in the beginning, my freshman year was about $54,000. And by the time I graduated, it was almost $60,000. And that was in the span of 4 years. So it should not be a surprise that college is becoming more expensive. If you look here, these are the years in which, obviously 1992 to 2023. So you can see private nonprofit for a year used to be $21,000 in 1993, and now is 39,400 for a public 4-year institution. 4,800 in the 90s, early 90s, and early 2020s. It is 10,000. So it is going up, and with inflation, obviously, that is also going to be affected. And we can also see here we go with the inflation adjusted rates. We can see the increase and how much more expensive college has become, right? So what is the result of colleges becoming more expensive? Obviously, student debt. Student debt is a huge problem, a huge epidemic in this country. And unfortunately, a lot of students don't have the resources, don't know that there are ways in which student debt can be avoided. And that is why, the total student loan debt as of 2023 is over $1.7 trillion in the United States, which is an insane number. And it doesn't end there. I guess if we go into more specific averages, the average debt per student borrower. So on average, students will graduate owing $37,000, which is, that is an average. There are students who graduate with over $100,000 in student debt for undergrad school. And, once they go into med school, or, if they go into a master's, they will take out more loans. So unfortunately, that is the student borrower average debt. There's also the average debt per parent borrower is approximately $29,324. And this is because of the loans, like the Parent Plus loans, or not even the Parents Plus loans, because those are federal loans, but the private banks that a lot of banks maybe offer, options for students to have their parents be the co-signers for the loan so they can have lower interest rates. I mean, they are lower, but at that point, it's not the student taking out the loan, it's the parent and the student's name going into that. And, if those payments are not made on time, if there are any problems, both people can be affected, both people's credit scores, and it just turns into a mess. So that's another average of student debt. The average time to pay off student debt is 20 years. There are people who, I have friends or whose parents are still paying off their student loans, which is insane. And subsequently, obviously, this time to pay off debt, this years and years that it takes to pay back student debt, has a huge impact on financial health. High student debt tends to delay major life milestones, such as maybe buying a home, starting a family, or saving for retirement even, because people are older and still paying off those student loans, or they can't retire because they need the money to pay off loans, because with the interest rates, they can never catch up. So it's a very unfortunate thing, an unfortunate problem that we have in this country. However, obviously there are ways to avoid it, and that's why we are here today, week after week, sharing these live streams, why we share our information on social media, and why we want to help people avoid all these loans, avoid all taking out these loans and being in debt for years and years. And how do students do that? How do parents and students avoid student debt? In order to avoid this, what our students do, most of our students will do, and what really worked for us was receiving the best college aid through college aid. So in other words, what's college aid in this particular scenario? That's institutional grants, institutional scholarships, institutional financial aid and scholarships. Sorry. So as you can see in this graph, the total grant aid divided by the 4 types of financial aid in the 2021 school year, 2021-2022, was institutional grants. The most amount of aid that was awarded to students in that year, it was 53%. So as you can see, it was the biggest amount or the biggest type of aid that most students received, right? So the second type of aid that was the most type of aid and scholarships that students received was federal aid, private and employer grants, that was a 12%, and state aid was 9%. Of course, a lot of it has to do because a lot of states or some states don't have that many or that good of state aid programs or scholarships that can help students pay for their education. For example, Florida has Florida Bright Futures, which is a great program that is bases a lot of it in merit and academic merit, extracurricular merit, and community service. But maybe this state program for scholarships, maybe they don't have something like that in Colorado or in North Dakota. I'm just making that up, obviously. I mean, just saying those random states. But, it's not the same in every state. When it comes to state aid, it is very different and it does vary. And there are regulations. If a student qualifies for maybe the Florida Bright Futures, but they want to go out of state, they can't really use that money that they would receive, yada, yada, yada. So that's a lot of it is affected because of that. But what we should be taking away from this graph is that institutional aid, and from this presentation as a whole, institutional aid is a huge portion, a huge, I guess, factor that should be considered when creating college lists, when researching schools. And it's something that should be looked into very thoroughly because there are so many schools that are so generous, and it's all about finding the schools that meet your family's financial profile and applying to those schools. Obviously, not only the financial portion, but what it is that the student wants to study, what it is that the student wants to do, maybe in extracurricular wise, and finding the schools that are going to give them the most amount of institutional aid and scholarships, right? So let's just explain why some colleges offer more scholarships, more institutional aid, and that is because of endowments, right? So what is endowments? So this is money that the school just has and receives through different sources. So these are maybe done through revenue generation processes. Maybe if the school has a great sports team, maybe like schools like FSU, where the sports teams, UNC, the basketball team is insane, and people will just go to the games, maybe students who are not even alumni, and they are making a lot of money from that. Endowment money can also come from alumni donations, and a lot of the money comes from those alumni donations. For example, Harvard University is a school that has such a large endowment, and a lot of the money that comes from their endowment comes from alumni donations, because there are a lot of students who graduate from Harvard University, from UPenn, or even, maybe not so the Ivy Leagues, maybe Cal State or UCLA, and they're going to be donating money to the school so that money can be used to fund scholarships. Now, that is one of the different ways. Alumni donations is one of the ways in which endowments are funded. There's also government funding, which it's, I guess, out of the three, revenue generation, alumni donations, and government funding is not every school is going to have that, but these are ways in which schools have endowments. And with that money, it's not just used towards scholarships. It's important to know. It might also be used towards, maybe if a building is really, really old, they might build a different building, or, tear it down and build a better building, more modern, with more resources for the students. But a lot of the endowment money is also used to fund institutional scholarships, grants, and scholarships. So also important to note, not all schools are equally as generous. So apply to the ones that are. That's what we did. That's what a lot of our students have done. And it's a great way to kind of avoid student debt, right? Obviously, there's going to be maybe schools that are not as generous, but are the right fit for the student, and students can still apply to those. There are other ways to get scholarships through federal aid, scholarships through private sources, but the biggest, or I guess the best way, or the best place to start, is to create a college list, to find the right colleges and universities, to research and look for schools that are generous. There are over 3,000 colleges and universities in the United States. There's a lot of schools. So that means there's a lot of options and a lot of very, very generous schools. My school was a private school, still a private school, Marist College in Poughkeepsie, New York. And maybe a lot of people are deterred when they hear the word private. They're like, private? Private equals expensive. Yes, very expensive. But one thing Marist had was a huge endowment, and it helped fund a lot of the grants that I received. A lot of the school money that I received from Marist was need-based aid. I also received my theater scholarship, which was also an institutional scholarship, and I got the presidential scholarship, which was a merit-based scholarship from Marist College, based on the academic, I guess, my grades, my extracurricular activities, my leadership that I did in high school. And that helped me, increase my chances, get more financial aid, get more scholarships. So institutional aid is very, very important. So look for those schools who are generous, and trust me, it's going to make a lot of other parts of the process much, much easier. Now, I have a little bonus tip for you, and that is a professional counselor with experience needs to guide your family, should guide your family through a successful journey to college and college admissions, right? And this means, in other words, that if you guys have guidance, if you have somebody that is helping you find those resources, somebody that is helping you understand the process, know what it is that you have to do, when it is that you have to do it, is going to make the whole process much, much easier. And two things to note is, you might say, well, there's the free high school college counselors. And the truth is that they are oftentimes very saturated. In fact, the average school has 450 students for one counselor, and that is just like the average. My school, we had one high school college counselor per 2,000, the whole school had about 2,500 students when I was in high school, and there was only one counselor that was supposed to be meeting with every student. And you want to have somebody who is with you throughout the 4 years, not just that senior year of high school. And oftentimes, these are people who really want to help. These are people who are prepared, but unfortunately, they just don't have the resources that can allow them to help and every single student and give them personalized advice. So that's why in most cases, free high school college counselors might not be the best option. And there's also the private counselor route, right? And the truth is that we have to admit that, a private college counselor might sound amazing, but they are simply not affordable for everybody. A private college counselor has an average package of $10,000, of charging $10,000 per student. And that is just an insane amount of money, and amount of money that unfortunately not everyone has and not everybody can afford to spend. So that is why, I want to move on and pivot and show you a different resource that could help you. And that is the Best College Aid Lifetime Family Membership. This is a resource. This is something that is, the best in between, or the best way in which you can have that guidance that is going to make the difference and that is going to help your family afford college, your student get accepted into the right college with the scholarships, financial aid and scholarships, without falling into a lifetime of student debt. And I do want to talk about what the lifetime family membership is, what it includes, what are the benefits. So if you are interested in having that guidance and having that assurance that you are doing everything that you have to be doing in order to maximize those odds and in order to get accepted into the right college with scholarships, maybe you might be interested in doing Best College Aid. So let's go ahead and share what it is that this membership, that this resource that we have for you, what our Best College Aid Family Lifetime Membership offers, and maybe you might find that it is the perfect fit for you. So what is it? With the Family Lifetime Membership, you and your family will get lifetime access and instant access to all of our online courses, which includes over 80 video tutorials where we go over every single part of the college admissions process from the moment when the student is in middle school, because we do have a mini course where we talk about middle school student prep. So tips for parents and students in middle school till they are in college and they have to buy books, how to find the cheaper options, the most affordable options, maybe finance or how to start budgeting their money, all that life in college tips, all that guidance, we also do include it. So it's all that middle school till life in college, we do include that. And it's also obviously, as I said, family membership. So if you have 3, 4, 2 kids, all the information and all the guidance, all of our help, all of our support is going to cover the whole family for life. It's just one payment for life. So that is one of the things, or one of the benefits included inside our Best College Aid Family Membership, which is valued at $8,000, but that's not the price, that's just the value. Another benefit or thing that is included inside our Best College Aid Family Membership is Zoom Q&A sessions. So our members get access to monthly Zoom Q&A sessions that are just for members. And in these sessions, we sit in front of the camera for an hour and a half on a one day of the week at the end of the month, and parents will write their questions and we will answer them and kind of give support through there. And also we have other ways in which we, give online support to our members, but that one is the more, personalized, and it's also like an hour and a half that we just answer any question and we kind of get to sit down and talk to you guys rather than it be in a computer or, be through a message. It's through Zoom. Another benefit inside of Best College Aid Family Membership is our private community, which has over 1,000 families that are inside a Facebook group that is exclusively for Best College Aid members. And it's a community in which parents and students are asking questions, they're interacting with each other. Honestly, it's one of my favorite things that we offer that's inside of the Best College Aid membership. Just logging in and seeing the community, seeing how parents and students are answering. Sometimes a parent will ask a question, and before we even get to it, like 2 seconds after it's posted, another parent, another student will say, "This happened to me," or "This is exactly what my child went through, and this is what we did and it worked," and they are helping each other. It's legit a community and it's amazing. So that is another benefit inside our Best College Aid Family Lifetime Membership. We also offer access to SAT and ACT official study resources, which, are valued at $397, but these are just included. So, and these are online prep courses that are part of Kaplan. I don't know if you guys have heard of Kaplan, but it's a whole online, a year of access to an online quizzes, video instruction, SAT resources, ACT resources, study materials for students to prepare for these exams, get higher grades, higher scores in these tests, and maximize their odds of getting accepted into colleges. And this resource is a year access. So if you have a student that, maybe it's in middle school, you don't have to activate it and you don't have to get access to this until they are maybe a junior or starting their sophomore year of high school. Because usually junior year is when we recommend students take these exams for the first time. So it can be activated. Students can get access to these SAT and ACT study resources when it is the right time and the best time to start studying. So that's another resource. Another amazing resource or benefit inside our Best College membership is 30% off Rhea store. And if, in case that you didn't know, or maybe you've never heard of it, Rhea is, a house that offers AP crash course books, practice exams, and study materials for AP exams, maybe for SAT, ACT, and for a bunch of CLEP exams as well. So students will have, as a member of Best College Aid, you will have access to 30% off all these study materials, all the materials inside the Rhea Publishing online store, which a lot of our students use, and 30% off. It's a huge deal, and it's a resource that our members have access to. Another discount or benefit inside our Best College membership is exclusive discounts to Dell Technologies. So our students will get access to exclusive discounts on electronic devices and equipments for middle school, high school, and college students, even parents. Maybe if mom, dad needs a new computer and they're looking for a monitor, whatever it may be, they can use this discount and get cheaper, a cheaper computer, a cheaper monitor. I've entered the online store that is just for Best College members. And there are monitors that, with our discount, students can save $2,000. The other day I saw that. It was like, you save $2,000 with our discount, which is just insane. So that's another benefit inside of Best College Aid. Access to exclusive discounts from Dell Technologies. Now, I want to share our special offer that we have for you today. Here, as you can see, this is everything that's included inside of Best College Aid. Private online counseling, unlimited online support via message, via our platform, via our Facebook group. Also, that is valued at $8,000. Access to current and future courses, so everything that's already in the platform. And as you know, things change. Things changed when the pandemic happened, and it was a lot of changes happening with the college application. There's going to be a change coming up with the FAFSA. So there's going to be a new process or new changes for this coming school year. So we are uploading a video where we usually have our regular FAFSA tutorial, step-by-step tutorial on how to fill it out. But with these changes, we are going to be uploading a video explaining all the changes and explaining how to fill out the FAFSA given this specific situation where it's going to be changing for this school year. So it's going to be access to old material, new material, the 4-year high school plan and digital files, access to our private community, our Facebook group with over 1,000 members, and the official SAT prep and ACT accounts, crash scores, Dell equipment, and more. You get access to all of this, which is usually it has a total value of $10,000. But today we have a sale where you can get this discount for $497, or 3 monthly payments of $197. And this is just a one-time payment. So if you decide to just join Best College Aid today and you decide to do the one-time payment of $497, you never, ever, ever have to pay anything ever again. You or your family, as I said, it's a family membership. Your mom, dad, student, maybe brother, sister, everybody in the family is going to have access to our help, our resources, our unlimited online support for life. And if you decide to do the 3 monthly payments, once you complete those 3 payments of $197, again, no other payment shall be made ever again because it is a lifetime membership. So that is the offer that we have for you today because we are dealing with the back to school season. So that is why we have a 50% off discount for the total to be $497 for you to join Best College Aid today. So if you are interested in becoming a member and if you are interested in taking advantage of this amazing offer, the link to this discount is in this video's description, whether you are on YouTube or Facebook. Let me share my screen so that you can see where you can find it. So if you are watching us on YouTube, all you have to do is click Learn More, get access now. You open this link and it will take you to the sales page where you can get access to the 50% off just by putting your name and your email, and you will be taken to this landing page where the discount will already be added. As you can see, there's a 14-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not happy, you're not satisfied with our material, you can contact us within 14 days and we will refund you 100% of your purchase. But we barely or never get any refunds because people really like what we have to offer. So just putting that out there. But if you want to try it, we do have that money back guarantee. If you want to see what's inside Best College Aid and check it out, we do offer that 14-day money back guarantee. And obviously here it is, the 50% already added. We have listed everything that the membership offers, and all you got to do, we also have the testimonials that a lot of first members have shared with us, what the students are saying or they have said. As I told you, we have students get accepted into 4 or 5 universities. This was one of our students. One of the testimonials from Carol. We have a student got accepted into Northwestern University last year, and they got a $37,000 scholarship per year. And Elvira, their child, got accepted into Temple University. And we have more testimonials if you're interested. But yep, that's how you can access this discount and have access to our sale that we have going on right now because of back to school. It's literally back to school, which is just crazy. But if you're interested, if you want to join Best College Aid, remember, we have a special offer going on right now. 50% off. $497 for you to join Best College Aid, a one-time payment or 3 monthly payments of $197, and you will have lifetime access and get access to all of the benefits inside of Best College Aid. So if you're interested, link is in this video's description, and you'll have access to all the benefits that we have for you, for your family, to maximize those odds of get accepted into college and to find the right university for your child that is going to offer them the biggest amount of scholarship, financial aid and scholarships available based on their needs, based on what they want to do. Because remember, as I said, it's about finding the right college, the right university for your student that is going to offer the financial aid, the scholarships, the course of study, the extracurriculars that the student is interested in. And we do cover all of that inside of Best College Aid. So if you're interested, take advantage of this special offer that we have for you today. The sale ends soon, so don't forget to take advantage, to join Best College Aid today, and to help change your child's future and to help them find the right resources, the right opportunities for them that is going to be the key towards success. All right. So that's everything that I have for you today. I don't see any questions, so I am done with the presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. And I hope that, you can maybe share it with somebody if you know anybody who might benefit from these resources, from all the tips that were shared today. Feel free to share it. It's going to stay on YouTube. Make sure to follow us on all of our YouTube channels. All of our social media channels, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And, if you are interested, remember the link to this sale is in this video's description. And if you decide to join, I'll see you inside the course. And if not, I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. My name is Laura Cantu, and I'll see you next time.